Busch is back on the lead lap, and we're back for the restart as Greg Biffle hauls them off into turn 1. Martin Truex, Michael Waltrip, Jason Keller, Johnny Sauter, Ron Hornaday, David Green, and Casey Kane are the first 8.
Just like on that last restart, Greg Biffle gets going so good, and then he took advantage of the lap car of Stacy Compton in the 59 on the inside.
The traffic, the lap cars, that can't much help you here, but they sure can hurt you.
Oh boy, they take up all the good racing room, you know, and you got to pick what line to go in, and you never can be sure where the cat in front of you is going to go.
Darrell, I believe Michael Waltrip in the 99 is much quicker right now than Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car, and he's going to go to the bottom right along the right line, but Martin Truex shuts the door on him.
Yeah, and that was a good move on Michael's part. He could have really made a mess out of that, but he gave Martin a little room there.
But he's much quicker right now, and he sees Greg Biffle up there getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, he can't afford to wait too long, and if Martin owns that bottom up like that, he's going to have to go.
They clear the lap car of Compton. Rudeman, the 87, coming along with them, is 2 laps down after a green flag tire stop.
We do need to mention David STREMME is back in the race, 46 laps down, so obviously it wasn't anything like a broken camshaft. Riding with STREMME right now on the helmet cam. Jeannie, what was going on with David STREMME?
Well, they finally diagnosed the problem as a distributor problem. They said, quite frankly, it just broke. So they were able to change it. It just, as you know, takes a lot of time. David STREMME would not get out of the car. He kept the net up and said, I am going back out there. And it did come to fruition. As Bobby Hamilton Jr., well, 30-plus seconds, not really too long to wait at a red light, but an eternity for the 25 car in his pit stall. The socket on the left front wheel just jammed. There's nothing they can do about it.
Right now he's back in 16th position. He's coming, but he's got a long way to go. Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25.
And I think when things like that happen, I think the folks at home, there's so many elements that go into having a good day. So many things. You can have a great car, you can be doing everything right, have a pit problem in the. Everything's got to work right for you to get to victory circle.
Hey, what's working right now is for Ron Hornaday in the 2 car is the high side of this racetrack. And remember, he's working with Butch Hilton and the entire group that worked with Kevin Harvick and Johnny Sauter last year that actually won the Busch Owners Championship. These guys are used to running up front.
Matt?
Well, Larry Mack, we were talking to Butch Hilton this morning. He won a Crew Chiefs championship last year for RC. You can add an Owners championship. His son, 60-year-old Brandon, won his Roadster title earlier today in Charlotte. He just got the cell phone call.
Matt, if you get a chance, ask Butch if he's talked to the group down there. My Brandon's racing as well, and these guys here, they're racing right now. This is Jason Keller in the 22 and Jamie McMurray in the 59.
Yeah, they're just having a hard time getting by Stacy. He's not giving them a whole lot of room to work with there, and put himself in harm's way a couple of times.
And Stacy Compton right now, he's racing just to stay the lead car that's a lap down where he could get a free pass to go around if the caution comes out.
Watch Jason Keller try to make some racing room. Back way on the bottom.
Yes, he was. You're down there where you get yourself in trouble because that transition between that apron and the banking is much different.
But there is grip on that white line. Those left tires, when they're really hot, they'll hook to that white line.
Kevin Harvick's view of it all.
See, that windshield's not near as clear. Greg Biffle, he's in trouble.
The leader up in smoke.
You got more than a vibration right now, I believe, Greg. That's definitely engine problems.
Yeah, I think that's what he was saying. I think I know what the vibration.
Time today at lap 80. Dick Berggren.
Well, Biffle just did one word into the radio. He said vibration. That's all he said, vibration. Remember, we talked earlier. He said there was a vibration in that car. Brad put it up and go to Las Vegas. They're going to have to win some other day, not today.
Yeah, he knew there was no need to bring it to pit road and lift the hood. He's got problems that's not going to get him back in the race.
But by the same token, he's out there leading the race, doing what he's supposed to do. Thing blows up, we'll get him next week. Run. They know they can win races. They know they can lead races. So not a great day, but not a terrible day.
But a tough day for Jack Roush, who owns that car.
And you know, Jack takes, I mean, he is so involved in the engine programs and all those cars. He takes engine failures really, really personal almost.
we might see these leaders come to pit road. We may see a little cat and mouse. If one comes, everybody has to come. It's been 20 laps.
Road and being single file by those cones on the racetrack there too, Larry. So
the 59 will get the free pass. Stacy Compton earns a lap back. Steve?
Mike Jason Keller says he has no rear grip and not enough forward bite. They just made a chassis adjustment and 4 tires. Dick?
Johnny Sauter has pitted. This will be the second set of tires. He has only 3 for this event. That's all NASCAR allows. He got a break with the 60 car leaving the event. He can drive right straight out to Matt.
Martin Truex said his car was tight at the beginning of the run. Bono Mannion said, do you want a track bar adjustment? He said, no, the car started to free up. I'm going to be too worried that the car will be too free near the end. It's going to be a close battle off pit road. Jeannie?
Well, the 30 car of Jamie McMurray said the car was a lot better, but they decided to make a few more adjustments. Remember, we mentioned earlier how loose the car was. The biggest problem during this pit stop is during the track bar adjustment. It just took a little bit longer than they thought, as sometimes the weaponry fight back. The equipment get in the way, as much like Bobby Hamilton Jr., how he had the problem with the socket wrench. Problems here as well, guys.
A little situation on pit road right here. The 38, Casey Kane, and Jason Keller in the 22 car. And then Jason Leffler in the 00 pulls out. And I put a lot of that on the crew chief's shoulders there, because that driver, he can't really see where he's at in that race car.
And he's pitting in the turn. When you're pitting in the turn like that, when you come out, you're coming out into the guys that are coming around that corner, and they clip the right front.
He's going to have to come back to pit road, and he was running in 5th position. So like Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25 a while ago gives up a lot of track position. There you see a lot of damage on Jason Leffler, 00 car. He's back in as well.
A lot of the guys won't pick those pits in that turn right there, because you cannot see when you pull out.
It's like running into a funnel.
Closing in on halfway. Martin Truex Jr., the leader.
Welcome back to the Goody's Headache Powder 200. Martin Truex Jr., 23-year-old from New Jersey, driving the car owned by Dale Earnhardt Jr., currently your leader. Here's what happened a little bit earlier. Things got off to a bumpy start on lap 3. David Rudeman here in the 87 car maintains control. David STREMME couldn't do much on lap 11. Engine problems.
Yeah, they had some kind of distributor problem right there. You see the car being pushed behind the wall, and the crew is starting to work on it, trying to find out exactly what the problem was. But since that time right there, they were able to determine it was a distributor, make the changes back on the racetrack.
Rookie Kyle Busch gets into it with Ron Hornaday. Forced to pit, cost him 2 laps. He's made that up. Greg Biffle taking the lead from Truex Jr. Later had engine problems, though, for the 60 car. And here Johnny Benson, who was on the pole and moved to the back of the pack to start with a left rear tire going down, having some problems running into Regan Smith. Let's check in now on pit road with Matt Yoder.
And Michael Waltrip on his previous pit stop, they made an air pressure adjustment to try to fix that tight condition. It helped a little bit, but not enough. But Michael was too worried that if they made a change on this stop, it might actually make the car worse and go the opposite way. So they didn't want to over-adjust, so they made no adjustment at all. Just 4 tires, Steve.
Hey, Matt, a little bit of a problem for Kevin Harvick on pit road. This is what is on the end of the impact wrench, and it hits the lug nut. The spring, you can see it's mangled, got caught, and they had to pull it off. Remarkably, they came in 9th and went out 8th. Dick Berggren.
Sauter lost several spots. Johnny Sauter wound up in 9th. He had been doing a whole lot better than that. Slow pit stop as a result of trouble on the left front.
So we're set to go back to green with Truex the leader, Waltrip, Hornaday, Keller, David Green, who started on pole, and McMurray.
I wonder if that mangled spring was like what was wrong with Johnny Benson's car. Do you think he had a mangled spring in it?
I don't know. I think it was by design.
Oh, you think it was?
I'm going to tell you the biggest story is most of these guys, Darrell, only have 1 more sets of tires caution, and we got over 100 laps to go. But they're all in the same boat.
This could get ugly.
This a much more orderly restart. Lap car staying down on the inside.
Ron Hornaday in the 2 car, he immediately goes to the high side. He wants that 2nd spot from Michael Waltrip in the 99.
Yeah, and traditionally Michael's car will be better on the longer run. He usually a little slow on the get-go, but he usually comes on well on the long run. But this car looks pretty darn fast right now. And he started back in 27th spot. He worked his way right there, and he's now racing up here to try to get the lead from Martin here before long.
Ron Hornaday in the deuce up to 3rd. Jeannie?
Well, Ron Hornaday having a great day. His pit stop basically just put 4 new ones on for me. He said this car is awesome. It is perfect, and it hasn't even really started to go yet.
And right now with Michael Waltrip in the 99 on fresh tires, I mean, he's running the bottom through 3 and 4. His car's digging. I mean, going to the high side now in 3 and 4 is really not paying off for Ron Hornaday.
Yeah, he's about a tenth quicker than 2 tenths right there on that lap. When you talk about him digging, the tires are sticking to the racetrack. He's down in there in the front end, sticking good for him. He's back in the throttle, and he's really able to come through the turns with a lot of speed.
In fact, David Rudeman in the 87 car, he just went by Ron Hornaday. Now, he's 2 laps down. Remember, he made that green flag stop earlier, and the caution came out, but he just lost that spot to him.
Dick Berggren?
Well, Greg Biffle is here. Tell us, folks, what happened to that engine. What did happen to it, Greg?
Well, I really don't know what happened. They got looked like something was unhappy inside the oil pan, wanted to come outside, so probably broke a rod or something like that. Just, you know, no indication. Great oil pressure, 185, 240 on the temps. And
could that have been the vibration you talked about earlier?
It could have, but my Busch cars have been vibrating since we went testing Daytona. You know, they got a driveline or a transmission issue, needs to get worked out. We got a ways to go in our engine program too. You know, we're down over 20 horsepower at restrictor plate racing last week and broke this week, first open race. So I think we got our homework to do if we're going to be competitive in this series.
We got 2 weeks to do it. We'll see you in Vegas.
Here's Hornaday in the 2 going past Jason Keller as you ride along with the Miller Ford.
And contrary to a lot of people's belief on the Busch side of things, Jack Roush and Robert Yates, they've not joined forces on those engines. It's only in the Nextel Cup Series engines. That could be coming, though.
Show you what happened to Derek Cope. Watch the 49 up high, the Advil car.
And that's just getting up there, Mike, where you can see all that dust and dirt and sand and rubber off the tires, and there's no grip up there, and it picks your hot tires that sticks to them, and they just become like snowballs.
You have to be careful and get those tires cleaned off, or it'll feel like he's got a flat tire. Jeff Hammond.
Guys, we've been talking about it off and on. Kyle Busch making a really strong run up to 9th after being 2 laps down early on. But let's give a call to Kenny Wallace in the number 91 car, driving right now. Stanton Barrett's car started in the back of the pack, hadn't driven that car at all until today. Got it up there in the top 20 right now. Pretty awesome run for that young man after the trouble he had during qualifying yesterday, not being able to start his car, getting that number 91 and doing a really good job. Right there he is on the screen. Pretty commendable.
Not only that, but he has a rookie spotter up top.
The winner of the Daytona NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race, Carl Edwards. First time he's ever spotted is what I was told. Yeah.
Had to ask directions to the spotter stand. Carl has promised if Kenny wins, he will not do a backflip off the roof.
I would hope not.
Kenny will have to catch him if he does.
NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series lives on speed. And Edwards off to a great start.
Right now, our true leader is Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car, and Michael Waltrip behind him in the 99. Their lap times are pretty much mirroring each other. Now, that lap there, Michael did run a little bit quicker, but for the most part, Michael's really not gaining or losing to the leader, Martin Truex Jr.
Him is a real dogfight back here for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th and on back. These guys are all wadded up here. Kind of a that might be a little mini wad right there, but it's a gaggle of them, I know that.
But who's coming and prevailed out of that pack is Jamie McMurray in the 30 car. He's moved up to the 3rd position.
And the other car that's hunting hard is Kyle Busch in the 5. He's all over the 21, and now he's got pressure. Whoa, a lot of pressure there from Johnny Sauter in the 27.
And just remember, it was less than 100 laps ago when he pitted. He was in 37th place, 2 laps down. So that is quite a recovery.
Helped by the free pass, but quite a comeback.
Plus, it just goes to show you don't ever quit. You know, you get 2 laps down, your race isn't over. It's early. We'll get it back.
Next time by, they'll see the crossed flags from the starter stand signifying halfway.
See another car that's not quitting as we go back to our leader, Martin Truex Jr., but that's Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25 car. He's made it to 10th. There you see the cross flags halfway. But remember, he had that pit stop problem with the lug nut, fell back to about 23rd. Now he's back in the top 10.
And you saw the flagman there working really, really hard. I mean, the flagman, we don't give him a lot of credit, but he tries to keep those cats out of your way, moving them over, giving them a layover flag. He gives you a lot of good information if you pay attention to him.
But those cross flags are telling drivers halfway.
Halfway there.
to green, moves up to 5th past Ron Hornaday. Behind Truex, Waltrip, McMurray, and Keller. You're watching the NASCAR Busch Series on FX, presented by John Deere.